Hi, my name is Cecil Baumann, and I'm your host and the founder of the company Ganz in Bewegung. I'm a movement and Alexander technique specialist. My business serves holistic thinking people who want to improve their mind body connection. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with two incredible women, Tammy Mitzka Crawford and Laurie Bird, the founders of Unlocking Freedom in Nature. We are so excited to have them both here today. But before I bring them up, I want to share what I mean by mind body connection. The Ganz in Bewegung system we developed includes 7 defining components of being human. For non German speakers, the meaning of Ganz in Bewegung is the whole of you in motion, which includes your movement, your body, your surrounding, your experience, your emotion, your thinking, and it's all connected with your breathing and all is interconnected with each other. One of our guests is Laurie Bird. She is a self mastery expert, author, and transformational speaker dedicated to unlocking the potential within individuals. After raising her children, Laurie pursued life coaching and clinical hypnosis, embarking on a journey of self discovery and healing. Her 7 step method, detailed in her book Freedom from Self Slavery, a guide for self mastery and empowerment, has transformed countless lives. Born in Puerto Rico, Lori is a devoted wife over 30 years and mother of 8. She combines the spiritual side with practical strategies of empowering families, creating a safe space for them to navigate challenges and rediscover harmony. Lori Bird stands as a beacon of faith, compassion, and wisdom, committed to helping families thrive in love and unity. Tammy Mitzka Crawford is a celebrated artist, internationally published author, coach, and speaker. Her art spans evocative fine art, 3D wall sculptures, reliefs, murals, and paintings, commanding prices from 5 to 6 figures. Despite a severe head injury and numerous health challenges, Tammy's resilience and faith led her to a fresh start in the serene mountains of North Idaho, where she found inspiration in nature. Tammy transformed her talent into a globally celebrated career. Beyond her art, she has made a significant impact in the fashion world and dedicated over 38 years to volunteer work, mentoring, and coaching. Her book, The Power of Art and Nature 10 Ways Both Can Improve Your Life, offers a path to healing and self discovery. Supported by their devoted husbands, cherished family, and esteemed mentors, their mission is to empowering resilient entrepreneurs, creators, and warriors to discover, experience, and transform. Through their retreat, adventures, and courses, they harness the transformative power of nature and art, helping individuals unlock their full potential and overcome challenges with positive belief systems. If you have any questions you like to ask Tammy or Lori, please contact them directly. Now, let's bring them up. Welcome, Lori and Tammy. Thanks so much for joining us today.
We are happy to be here. I'm so glad,
Yeah,
Cecile.
thank you so much for inviting us on your show, Cecil. I just love it. And of course, I love you. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, I had the pleasure to interviewing you, Tammy, a while ago, and when your new book came out. So I'm happy that you came again, this time for Unlocking Freedom in Nature. Yes. And
Yes.
I was also very fortunate to be on your podcast. That was really wonderful. It's really great to have this and we will talk about it. We will talk about your podcast later on. So stay tuned.
It was
Laurie,
our honor.
let's start with you. I'm really having so many questions. I don't want to
Okay.
rush through, but still I want to have some more info about you. As a mother of 8 and a devoted wife, how did you balance your family responsibilities with your professional pursuit in life coaching and clinical hypnosis?
Yeah, so I was blessed to be a stay-at-home mom and all that earlier on in that journey, right? And then after my number 8 went to kindergarten, he went to school. That's when I started pursuing that those other areas because my identity was so attached to being a mom. I was like, what now? My little one's gonna go to school. What am I gonna do all day? And even though a mom is a mom's always a mom, um, the level of activity during the day and all that wasn't going to be the same, and I wanted to contribute to community and society, and then that's when I decided to study for what I'm doing now, and it's a balancing act, definitely, to make time for my children, now grandchildren, and then my professional life. But I love it, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
And you always take time off for yourself too.
I believe in that. I'm an advocate, and that's what me and Tammy we're doing, and we're trying to help other moms or entrepreneurs
Mhm.
that give their life and heart out to others. We want to help them understand that taking that time off is extremely important for balance, for re-energizing and resetting
Mm.
themselves to the next level. Yeah.
And I mean, who to trust more than you two, who are so experienced in having a lot of children around, staying calm, getting back the energy again and again. I mean, you are pros. I'm really bowing. I have just children.
You're so nice. Thank you.
Can you explain your proprietary 7-step method from your book,
Yes.
please? I
Yeah,
want to
from
know
my
a bit
book.
more, or I'm
Wonderful.
sure the listeners too.
Yeah, we have a common coach. We have a common person, right? Cecile, our amazing Kane Menkos, and he encouraged me to jot down based on anecdotal evidence and my experience with my clients, to jot down my process that helped me at some point. To it was common denominators that really helped me help my clients to progress, to live a life of purpose and meaning, and for them to feel fulfilled. And basically, I worked with 7 R's, right? Or like you said, it's the step fast forward method, or is um, for self-mastery and empowerment. And in my very easy reading book, I describe those 7 steps. And I'm going to share a few of those R's. Is removing emotional burdens, resolving internal conflicts, releasing negativity, and reframing those sabotaging patterns that we have, and replacing them with positivity. And I'm just going to go ahead and finish with the 2 next R's, which is restoring meaningful relationships and then rewriting your story. And basically, Cecile, long story short, is like, because I was my first own client, as I was learning to be a coach, I kind of helped coach myself or understand myself better. One example that might resonate with many of your audience is like my parents' divorce when I was a little girl. And then I always felt like not enough, or I always felt like, why didn't they fight for them to stay together, for me to have a dad at home, etc. And when I reframed, like one of my R's, reframed that view and giving my dad so much power, and why did he leave us? Why did he step away from us? And I realized my mom stayed. She's the other half of that equation. And I reframed those ideas and I replaced them with positivity and I released the negativity. It was like a new person was born, understanding that I am enough, that I had nothing to do with their decision to live separate ways, to go their separate ways, and that my life could begin again, and I could rewrite my story. That the beginning of the book or the chapter of my life, of the story of my life, doesn't need to define who I am, and I can do everything I can by design to have a happy ending or design a different outcome for myself. So
Wow, that's
I
so
love how she
impressive.
mentions reframe, right?
Yeah,
It's
I
something
love it.
that it's looking at things at a different viewpoint.
Yes. And also, make a break and say, okay, that's where I'm coming from, but this is not defining my future. And I love this approach of stepping beyond the known, so into the unknown. And this is a big risk. And I mean, that's really a big strength and takes a lot of courage to go this path. And you did it. So I'm
I
so glad. I mean, and we can see it, of course. We can see it. You're such a wonderful person. And
thank you. You're
you
so
both,
nice.
you have so big stories. And yeah, that's really amazing.
One thing I want to mention, Cecile, and I appreciate you saying you did it. What I say also about my 7 R's method, and you're gonna see is kind of like a cycle, right? It's like a circle.
Yeah.
Is you need to repeat it because life knocks you down for any other reason, but then you have that attachment to that memory of you're not good enough or abandonment or whatever it is, right? The negativity or the feelings attached to that, and you can knock yourself down again if life gives you another adversity, or if I feel rejected, right, by somebody didn't want me to speak at their event, or and and it's okay to, as long as you continue with this process, right, removing, resolving, releasing, reframing, replacing with positivity, etc., it's ongoing. So I'm glad you think, and you say that, yeah, I did it. However, it's continuous work, and Tammy and I were just having a conversation that we're so good to with each other and to each other, because when it's feeling down and hopeless, the other one picks ourselves up, and we pick each other up, and that's why it's an ongoing thing in life. So
Yeah.
we need
We're
to keep
each
it in
other's
check.
therapists.
Yeah, but with
And coaches.
everything you train and you do and repeat, you get better and better and better. And it's get a bit
Yes,
more easy, probably, or you can handle more difficult stuff, that life
absolutely.
throws to you. So it's really, it's a skill. It's a skill set. And oh, I want to read your book. I have so many books to read. So I will not promise anything,
No
but I'm
pressure, no pressure.
definitely into the theme. I really love it. I will buy it anyway.
Thank you.
So, Tammy, I highly recommend our listeners check out our interview from October 2023, where we delved into your life story and book. Today, I want to explore more about you and your journey. You have dedicated over 38 years to volunteer work and mentoring. What drives your commitment to helping others, and what impact have you seen from your efforts? Tammy?
Okay, so that is a loaded question.
Yeah.
I have always just felt that I have always just liked helping people, whatever I can. And I've always believed, and as for volunteering and stuff, that was always with youth. Um, Youth is where you have to start. When you start with youth, it helps them to grow into better adults, and then it helps them to help their own kids. And youth actually listen more than we think than adults. Adults usually are more stubborn, because we already have, until you get to a certain phase, and then you realize, okay, I learned from something every day, every experience, anything that we do. But yeah, I started helping with youth when I was only in junior high. In high school, I would go and help younger kids, younger, doing things. I get as part of my DNA. I don't know. I love helping people. I love sharing my experiences because we learn from our mistakes. And if I can save somebody else from going through those same mistakes, then it helps them. But I just have always had a passion for helping with youth. And what's funny is a lot of those youth, as they grow older, you're still their mentor. Once you're a mentor or a coach, you become friends and you still mentor and coach them later. And I know Lori gets this, she's mentored youth for as long as I have at the same time. So that's why we do in our courses, and one of our retreats is for parenting connections, for people to realize how they connect with their kids. I don't know how many times get calls from parents that would say, hey, could you talk to my son for me? Don't tell him I called, but this is what's going on at home. Or kids are like, hey, my mom and dad are not understanding me. Can you talk to them? So we want them to learn ways that they can communicate with each other better. And then when we do courses, it's about those connections that we've done with mentoring. So hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and that brings me up that I forgot to ask a question for Lori before, because I wanted to ask you what practical strategies do you offer families to help them navigate challenges and rediscover harmony and connection? If you
Yes,
like to share, it's up to you.
absolutely. In basically is those 7 steps that I mentioned in different ways, right? One also I'm working on, it's a new formula, a new method about voice, about how important our voice is of
Mhm.
us as parents and also the teenagers, for example, or a couple. And one of the things that has been very challenging is for us to open up and be vulnerable and have difficult conversations. How do I tell my adult child that's back at home for a few months that they need to I don't know, fulfill certain responsibilities while they're at home, that we have this expectation for them while they're at home? How do I tell this to the teenager? There's some fear around in our own new home nucleus, for us to be bold and honest in a respectful way where communication can thrive and we can have even difficult conversations. And that's one thing that I help families and family members overcome, for us to, first of all, be honest with ourselves, to set boundaries, and to listen to each other and value each other's voice. The teenager's voice is as important, or a child or a spouse's voice is as important as your own. And you need to honor that and learn how to give and take. It's what I call catch, pitch and catch, pitch and catch, right? It's a process. And we have to, if you think in baseball, the umpire, the person that's the pitcher and the catcher, all of them have a special gear, because that ball, which is the message we're gonna communicate, can hit hard. and one of my children and I already know, Mom, are you ready? Do you have the gear on? Can you put your gear on? And I'm like, okay, what are you gonna tell me? And sometimes I tell him the same thing. Do you have your gear on? Can you put your gear on right now? One day, when my son told me, nope, I don't want to deal with that right now. And I'm like, okay, let me know when you're ready, because I need to tell you something. And it's an amazing thing how we have adapted that, but it makes me wonder how many families don't have that. And of course, we can grow and we can do whatever we're doing better. It's not perfect, but teaching those basic concepts about communication, respecting each other, and setting boundaries is some things that I do, and Tammy and I will do also with families that come to all the parent and teen connection retreats or other connection retreats.
Well,
Yeah,
and
I love
and
what you said.
and I was going to say, Lori brings up a great point. And that's the biggest thing I got from working with teens is we aren't always listening. The teens aren't listening, or we're not listening. And when we don't take the time to really listen, we're not getting the full story. We assume the worst, or we assume the best, or we assume this or that. But until we actually listen on each side, we're not going to get the truth. So.
Yeah. I love how you talk about parenting, you know, and the commitment. You ask for commitment to talk. And I mean, most parents, they don't, they just said, I want to talk to you now. So they have no space to decide, do I want to, am I able, am I strong enough to face what's coming up? So I love also the voice, that you take in the voice, the sound of your voice, how you communicate. I think that's, you say something with a hard voice and kind words, it's not matching.
Right.
And people know, and especially teenagers, they know and they get loud. So I love it. I really love.
And teenagers
Yes.
test you.
Yeah.
Yes, and what I say that I'm working on a method with voice is that each of those VOICE, they have a meaning that we're going to work with. Like V is value. Each of your voice has value. Each of the things that you have to say is valuable, etc. I won't say much because I still a work in progress. But yes, your voice is important. That, and then like you say, Cecile, also definitely the tonality. Also, you're going to your room, I'm gonna take away your cell phone for a whole week, and then the second day they're begging you and you give in into giving the cell phone back, for example. If you don't mean it, if you don't have the discipline to live up to that thing that you said you were gonna do, don't say it then. Or I love you, and then you said it in a way that doesn't present love, right? It doesn't.
No.
So those those congruencies and things need to be there, need to take place, and need to happen. If you say I love you and it worries me that I see you making these choices, then probably you're more credible, right? And there's congruency in what your words are saying, your tonality and everything. So this is all very important.
Yeah, that's massively important.
But one of the things we want to say is it starts with you. And that's why we designed our courses and our retreats, is because we know it starts with us and what's inside us.
Yeah, and how to connect with yourself first, and then you can connect with others.
Yes.
And it's easier to connect with people who are on the same flow or, thinking level, how do you say? Yeah, that you think similarly or
Right, the
have
same
the
values
same
and
values.
different
Yeah,
things.
the values. That's it. That's it.
It's easier, but it doesn't always work. And sometimes you have to shift. And, it doesn't matter if you're a youngster, a teenager, a parent, a young parent, or, or an elder. It doesn't matter who you are. You have to be willing to listen. But if you aren't filled with kindness and positivity and kind of like what we were talking on our last Facebook Live, you have to have the energy inside you as well. It starts with you. It's kind of like the airline stewardess. If, when they're telling you when you're up in the air, you got to put that oxygen mask on you first before you do it on the child. If you don't, you're not going to help anybody. So you've got to take the time and work on yourself first.
Yeah, yeah. That brings me up to the question, how did you meet? First time you meet.
Well, Cecile, we belong to this common group, entrepreneurship group, etc. And we know a lot of people from all over the world. Look at where you are, where Tammy is. The three of us, right, met under the same platform, specifically with someone in the group that was going ahead and working on a project that Tammy and I signed up for to participate in another person's project. And then from there, our friendship developed and we worked together in a talk show and things like that. And as it turned out, this third party turned out to, Tammy and I simultaneously, but we unbeknownst to each other, like I didn't know, she didn't know, I wanted to step down from this venture with the third party. And I said, I can no longer continue. Some things didn't align with my value system, etc. And I decided to step down. So I'll let Tammy tell her version.
So, and yes, we actually did some magazine covers. We did a show, was a whole collaborations together.
A summit.
A lot. And we did talk shows. And I felt that because my values weren't lining up with this other person, but my values lined up with Lori. And one of my coaches had wanted me to do Facebook Lives. I was like, okay, I have to quit this and I'm stepping down. But I told Lori, I'm going to start this in January, my own Facebook Lives. And I think I put a little bug in her ear at that time saying, hey, I'm going to ask you to join me if you're interested, because I love your values and I love who you are.
I think we took a little break. I think we burned out a little bit.
we took like 2-3 months off. And I started my Facebook Live, even though I was
Mhm.
still doing the Power of Art and Nature, my Facebook post. But then we came together and we agreed to put our names together from her book and my book. And that's how we came up with Unlocking Freedom in Nature and Art. But Lori is my lost sister.
We were soul sisters. We're soul sisters.
We even have the same, share the same middle name, which is so funny.
Yeah,
But
I'm Lori Ann and she's Tammy
yeah,
Ann.
Oh, so
we
great.
started
Wonderful.
comparing notes, and it was like, oh my gosh, we have the same values. Um, and we both want to help others. We love helping others in different ways. We've had the same coaching methods, which helps a tremendous amount because then we're on the same line, because there's always going to be differences, right?
Mhm.
But communication is huge, and Lori and I both agree on communication, listening, and sometimes we might not always agree, and we'll come back the next day and go, "Oh, you're right," or "Oh, or we meet in the middle, or whatever." But
I love it when Tammy says, "Let me think about that."
That's always good.
But it's so important, Cecile, and for the audience and your audience out there, that if they're entrepreneurs or for any joint venture, whether if it's a partner in romantic partnership or business partnership, it's so important for your values to align, your integrity to align, etc. One thing we are grateful for this third party is that she helped us find Tammy and I. You know, she connected us, I think. And that is something positive I want to say about that experience. And it's so funny how when she decided to step down and I was deciding to step down at the same time, it was very interesting how that happened in a timely manner. And we each had our own reasons to do it. But some of those reasons aligned too with each of us, like, no, this is not going the way we envisioned and we wanted it. So that's how we met, and it's been history. I think we celebrated our 1 year of being in this talk show or this podcast in our Facebook, Tammy's Facebook group. That is now my Facebook group too, I guess.
yes, it is.
And what she started and founded, she wanted me along, and it's been amazing. It's been an amazing growing and professional experience and personal experience, and our friendship is amazing. So thank you for asking how we met.
And
Yeah.
the thing that I'm going to throw out there, like Lori said, when you start a partnership, know your values. Make sure you both write down at least 10 values. Make sure your integrity needs to be there online and offline. You need to check each other. We checked each other out, of course. And, but you have to share that. If you don't have the same values, you're not going to make it. And sometimes people come across great when you're talking to them. But when you're going into a partnership, you need to make sure that you're sharing the same thing all the time, offline as online. You can go back to my Facebook 5 years and you're going to see it's all been pretty much the same positive post all this entire time. It's kind of like branding, right? You have to stay on it at all times. It's not like this one-time thing.
Be consistent.
Is the
Yes.
consistency, so
Building.
you're going to see that we're there. And so we started our whole our website and everything. We got it done in January. We decided, hey, we're going to be full-time business partners here, and we want to help people discover, experience, and transform with our courses and our retreats.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I know who should listen to your podcast, but I'd like to know what you think. Who should listen to your podcast?
We want individuals that feel overworked, overwhelmed, and don't stop to smell the roses. And that's kind of like gluten for punishment, because they may not stop to listen to us. But we want to encourage you to take time for yourself. Those people that give everything and that are givers and heart-centered people that want to take care of the world, but then tend to neglect themselves, those are the people we're looking for, that want to listen to and make a change and say, okay, I need to stop and smell the roses, literally, and let me stop and listen to these two ladies and their guests. Because what we're looking for is stories in the outdoors, and how nature helped them progress and grow in their entrepreneurship journey or personal life. So that's who we're looking for, right, Tammy? And warriors, you can describe who the warriors
Well,
are.
I'm gonna say we want everyone to, of course, to listen, all ages, because we usually have a story that will help anybody. Because we try to have our guests tell us their stories of how and why they're where they're at. Especially if you've or have physical ailments, you know, you're suffering from MS, cancer, or traumatic stress syndrome. There's PSTD, right? There's so many different things. You're a warrior. If you're going through struggles, you're a coach. We're here to cheer you up and to encourage you to use nature and art as and positivity, you know, share our experiences, share our guest experiences. There's usually something on here for everyone.
Yeah, I can just say yes, yes. You should listen. Everyone out there should listen to the podcast. It's really interesting. So different kinds of people, but all with the same value. It's really, I love it.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
let's dive deeper into your collaborative work and retreats. How do you harness the transformative power of nature in your retreat?
Wonderful question. I feel like I'm always starting, Tammy. Do you want to start this time?
So, well, the way you do it for the nature part, we have them where there's a lot of beautiful nature around us. So whether it's our North Idaho Connection retreats, it's up here in North Idaho where I'm surrounded in a forest with 10, we have 10 acres here. I have my gardens. We parked our whole place. So it's a park with waterfalls and ponds and streams and the forest and, you know, it's park-like setting. And we have the large decks in my studio and stuff here, and we have lakes surrounding, lots of trails. We have I think it's 118, 130 lakes just in my surrounding area. And
Cool.
our Lake Pond, like Lake Pend Oreille is 111 miles of shoreline. It's huge, you know. So we live in a beautiful area. But then we want to do trips like to Puerto Rico or the Caribbean, like we have for Barbados and St. Lucia. They're all nature settings. We want people to experience nature and we want to share and show how to get the most out of your experiences and how to let nature heal you. And we want you to be able to take these experiences so that you can take them home with you.
So
So
Yeah.
it's an ongoing. I'll let Lori go from there.
Oh, Cecile, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I just wanted to say, so it's not online. You did an online retreat once.
We do virtual online retreats 4 times a year.
Okay.
For those
And
people
it's for
that are
those-
homebound, for the warriors that
Yeah.
are homebound, that cannot enjoy nature the way we are always encouraging people to go out in nature, we understand there's people that are homebound. A simple video of a tree that Tammy took in our first virtual retreat was so powerful and influential in the people that watch. And there was people with like homebound issues because of health issues, etc. They got inspired to now step closer to a window to get more sunlight, or step outside their house 10 minutes a day to enjoy sunlight and nature. And those are the things we do with our virtual retreats. We want to bless or influence others and help them understand the power of nature, even when they're indoors, with inspirational videos and pictures or themes that will help them in their personal growth. But I also wanted to say that there's so many studies, and there's a wonderful article written by Tammy in our webpage. It's called Nature's Gentle Embrace in Mental Wellness, and also how nature helps as a therapy is. And we also interviewed Martina Famos. She's from Switzerland, and she's a therapist that started her counseling sessions walking her dog in nature with the client. And she's experienced how they're more prone to relax, to be themselves, and to open up even better with the sounds of nature and just the movement, right? As she walks, her client opens up even better as they do that in nature. So Tammy and I want to offer that. We want to offer, and we're not a travel agency, right? Some people have, and we've needed to tweak our little copy in our webpage, you know, for people to understand we're not a travel agency. We're different. We're more than that. We are company that wants to offer retreats and in beautiful destinations with the purpose of people to grow in nature, to connect with nature, relax, and enjoy the sounds of the bird, the leaves, the breeze, the wind. And that's when the person just opens up and relaxes, so that the personal development information we're sharing with them, they will be more open and receptive to make those changes and to absorb the information we're sharing.
Well, and what's amazing, Lori, is I was talking with my sister she's a clinician, and they actually, a lot of therapy centers now are using nature, taking people on more walks and stuff because they've realized that going outside is so healing. And if you look in our title, it's Discover, where we train and we show you different ways to things to do, but we want you to experience, because it's not until you experience that you transform. If you think about it, when you go on vacation, if you go to Disneyland, you usually come back wiped out, right? You have a great time, but at the same time, you're wiped out. And what did it do? But when you go and you do purposeful experiences like a hike or boatings, it's a totally different experience, and you usually come back rested. You're learning, and you're learning so much there, and we want you to learn and experience so that it transforms you into being a better person and to be filled with more energy to help you with your different anxieties and different things. We're just sharing you from our experiences. We're not experts. We're just sharing with our experiences, and we actually are working with a travel agency just so we can share these experiences with people.
Yeah, that's bringing me up to the next question. How do you choose the location for your retreats to ensure they provide a supportive and nurturing environment? What elements are essential for creating an ideal setting for transformation?
Great
Water.
question.
One thing
Water.
is water.
That's interesting.
Yes,
Tropics, tropic and water. Yep.
so whether it's up here or if we have it anywhere, we want water there. So what this is when my friend who did Mary Beth did the travel agency, she was setting up stuff, and this was before COVID even. I was going to do this. I'm like, I cannot do a retreat unless there's water there. It has to be water, and there has to be plants. I'm not going to do a retreat in a sterilized building, because that's not, a lot of people don't visualize. I visualize, but a lot of people don't visualize. So you've got to put them in those, in the areas have to have nature around. And we chose, so North Idaho, when we do our connection adventures, those are more like you get to find your own lodging and your own cars and that kind of stuff, right? And you're more wilderness type, whether it could be in Canada, Banff, it could be here. There's places in Arizona that we've looked at, Texas. There's areas all over the world that are just absolutely gorgeous. If you just go to a national park, you're going to see a beauty, right? And we're just trying to train you how to even see more and experience more when you are there. But the Sandals resorts are for those who want luxury. We want you to be pampered. We want you to experience being pampered and experience nature. So you're getting a combination there. And so that's why those are so valuable. But at the same time, we're giving you time each day to do your own thing, because it's your own discovery time. It's like we might have, okay, we want you to go and do a photo scavenger hunt, where, earlier in the discovery session, I might be saying, okay, this is how you take these photos or these. We are teaching you people more things than we ever write about or talk about. Lori's going to be doing different meditations and exercises and stuff. We have so much to offer. We can't put it all down. So.
Yeah, and to answer, it's destinations that we have always dreamt on going to, because we hear how beautiful they are. The importance of water, other than our middle name, Tammy and I also agree that we are both little fishies or mermaids, because we like water. There's a lot, you're gonna see Tammy always sipping, me always drinking water also. There's so many calming, yeah, there you go, Cecile. come along with us. Drinking, from staying hydrated and drinking in the water internally, from listening to water has a calming effect too. The sound of water can be relaxing, especially the gentle repetitive sound of the waves, which, oh my goodness, just to think about that, it makes me super excited. And being near water, even though we don't have to swim or get in it or do a water sport if you don't want to, but just
Right.
being near water, studies have said that it just releases stress. And using water, like splashing or just putting your legs, to your knees, in the water, has a very transformative and calming effect. I went to the Isle of Wight in the UK, and my goal was to get into that cold water. I did it. It was a goal for myself, a challenge for myself. I mean, there's so many ways Tammy and I have already experienced how water can be so healing and calming. We want that for our clients. Like she said, in Idaho, in the lakes or in the tropic, like we have St. Lucia, we have Barbados, very tropical, very amazing, and it's highly recommended by our traveling agency that we're working with. So these are places where people are going to feel pampered, like Tammy said, and very important also is just feeling stress relief and calmness because of the soothing effects of water.
Well, and you
Yeah, I
can
mean,
see behind me, I even put it in my art. There's just something about water. It's in almost every single client has always had me put a stream, a waterfall, or a lake in their scene because there's something about water,
yeah, I mean, we are water 60% when we get older. As young children, I think almost 80-90% of water in the body. I mean, it's no wonder that we have these ebbs and flows also in our bodies, and we can feel the water in us, and it's circulating. So yeah, I'm really trusting science.
Oh, well,
Mhm.
it's
And
it's
you
very
both.
grounding and, it's like Olivia with earthing, she does a lot, talks a lot about the water, how it's
Mm-hmm.
very grounding when you put your feet in it and stuff too. But
Yeah.
it's like go walk in it, just
Mhm.
put your feet or hang them over the edge of the swimming pool.
I have so many more questions, but what's next for unlocking freedom in nature and art? Are there any new projects or ideas you're excited to explore?
Always, Cecile, always. Our brains,
Oh, I
we are
shouldn't have
two,
asked.
we are two creators. Tammy, obviously, with her art, etc. But me is in different ways, and we're always, like you said, about evolving how things and marketing evolves, and the needs of the audience and the public changes, or we tap into, okay, this is not working. What do we do next? What we want is, yes, promoting these retreats. That's forever going to be there. That's a constant for us. The retreats coming up, you can check them out in our website. And also B2B, we want to be able, if you are a CEO, if you are the leader of an organization, we want to provide also corporate retreats. And that's something that we're working on. We believe that other than parents and teens and spouses and family, we also believe in other family-like communities where there's has to be synergy and you have to understand each other and there has to be a cohesive workflow and environment. And we want to provide retreats for corporates too. We understand that, for example, a dental office I went to, they're like, we're overworked, everybody's always, and they have, staff meetings and things like that, and awards, ceremonies for the best employee of the month or whatever. But we also understand there's a need for a staff or a team in a dental office, dermatologist office, or somewhere, real estate company that needs to also strengthen their link as a team, in the form of a retreat or getting away for a little bit. They can close their business or leave all their staff there for their leadership or their team to go and retreat and learn and communication skills and experience personal growth in nature. And we want to offer that. And that's where Tammy and I are going. That's where Tammy and I are going to be working next. to develop this information, to have it accessible for people to understand that we want to offer the same things for corporates too.
Yes.
So-
And so we're doing that. And along with our courses, we're offering even more individualized personal coaching for even branding for your business. Because we keep getting asked to do that as well. So, I mean, I just helped Corey last week with set up her whole Facebook Live. So we're trying to help in any way we can help. So,
Wow, that's a very good.
and team building is great in nature, that's,
Yeah.
and you're taking a team of workers, away from their everyday stuff. While your staff, you can
Environment.
hire somebody part-time to fill in if you need to and bring them out to someplace here, or we can meet, or we'll travel and meet them. Whether they hire us for 1 day or 3 days, it's their choice. But we want to build that connection to help teams out too, so that they can get along better, so their connections are better. I mean, I know that when I had a team, we did stuff all the time, and it was what's funny is I look back, it was all outdoor themed.
Mm.
And I'm still friends with them, 29 years later. We're still good friends, and so that just shows you how you do those team building exercises. And when you have better teams, your employees work better.
So our time is almost up. But before we go, what are the top 3 things you want our audience to take away from today's conversation?
Number one, self-care is not egotistical, is not selfish. Self-care is crucial. Like Tammy said, you have to wear that mask. If you're not breathing, how can you help somebody else breathe, right? If your pocket is empty, how can you help others? If your battery is not charged, how can you help charge the life of others, right? So that's one. Self-care is self-love. That's one of the things I want to say.
Great.
So, and I'm going to say, take the time, whether it's with us or whoever, to discover something new each day. Always, always try to learn something new. And then experience. Experiences are worth more than going shopping for a new dress or something. When you experience something, especially in nature, you're going to have that as a lifetime, and because it's going to transform you.
And my third then would be that, along with that experience, and Tammy just said it, but is get out in nature. Get out in nature, even if it's just stepping outside, barefoot if the weather allows, ground yourself, or go on a walk, breathe fresh air, allow the vitamin D from the sun to illuminate you, to bathe you, because it's very refreshing. And those 3 things: self-care, discover and experience, and out in nature, even better. And that will be our, like Tammy and I, it's our consistent, constant messaging in our brand, in everything we have out there, the blog articles, our web page, everything, and the retreats is with these purposes for you to discover, experience, so you can transform in nature and be free to live a fulfilled life. So thank you for asking that question, Cecile.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you both so much for sharing your incredible journeys and insights with us today. Your stories are truly inspiring. Yes, I look forward to the new adventure you're up to and to hear about.
We're always planning new adventures, and if you go to our page, you're going to see we have different ones for like Bora Bora planned and Thailand and different things that we're considering. So
For 2025. Yep.
Yep.
Wonderful. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us today. I trust that this conversation with Tammy Mitska Crawford and Laurie Bird has offered valuable insights into the healing power of art, nature, and self-mastery. The recording of this interview will be available on our YouTube channel, youtube.com Ganz in Bewegung. Follow us for more content to come. Let us know how you found the event. Until next time, stay inspired and keep exploring the whole picture of your being.